How you doing? I'm Rich Castagna, founder of Bridge and Tunnel Brewery, and this is my brew house. A buddy of mine was actually working a job where we both had bad days off, and we had weekdays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, that we were like, all right, what are we going to do with these days off? And he was a brewer, and he said, why don't you get a home brewer kit, and we could start brewing on our days off, and we'll bring it back, you know, bring the products back to work, and we'll trade, and that's how I got started. That was about 10 years ago.
Around 2005, I started to see things change from the way they had been. There had always been a few breweries, but then we've seen more opening up.
There's more breweries now than ever. When I became a brewer here, there were, I would say, maybe 18 breweries in like the state. Now there's over 65, 70. I think there's more than that. I think it's going up 80s and 90s now. It's not huge, but it's big compared to what I came here to in 1997. In 1997, this was no beer culture town.
I'm basically a one-man operation, partly out of space constraints. There's not much more room for anybody else in here when I'm working. So also I have a full-time gig. So I brew right now. It's every other week. Occasionally I can get a third brew session in per month. But I'm looking to get it to at least once a week. And distribution, whenever the kegs are available, whenever they're ready to go out, I start farming them out. And the thing is that I have to get them out fast and pick up my empties quick so that I can get the next batch behind it.
This term nano now is popping up more and more because it's used to describe these really, really tiny breweries. There are these guys who are now opening up a little 1-barrel system, 7-barrel system in their backyard. These little tiny operations that are interesting because they're finding a way to do it, to actually put their beer out in the market and to have a business without investing in $1 million facility.
I'm a nano brewery, so everything is making the small work as if it's big. This is a home brewer's technique for protecting the box and keeping it waterproof, because a brewery can be very wet. All right, basically, the pump itself is housed in the toolbox, right? So you can bang it around. Unfortunately, you can't drop it this way because that's what happens. Doing what I can with making everything multitask. This one pump serves as all my processes. A lot of the aspects of this system itself originally were other items that I repurposed. This one I bought off of a guy that had a Chinese food restaurant, and it was a kettle that he must have backed his car into, and it was partially crushed, and he didn't even bother cleaning the food out. It had rice at the bottom, and he sold it to me for $30, and I took it and I straightened it out with a car jack and made it circular again. And it's a 3/16 stainless steel kettle. It's actually a higher grade stainless steel than the two other kettles. Now, on the exterior is partially decorative, but also, as I said, it's also there's boiler insulation underneath the oak, and this is all oak wood cladding. Usually guys, they'll clad them out in pine, something that's economical. This is clad out in oak, and I'm not saying that I dropped a whole lot of money on it because it was actually my neighbor who tore out his oak wood flooring, and I saw it sitting there and I looked at it and I said, there's something I can do with this.
It's a lot of work. I don't understand why they're doing it, because if you make a barrel, you're going into business, you're making a barrel at a time, you're brewing all the time. I mean, you're constantly brewing, and it's just way too much work. It takes you the same amount of time to brew your barrel of beer as it takes us to brew 30 barrels of beer.
The first batch that I did, it was ready for distribution in early November, and basically, you know, I just brought samples around to places, and they got back to me, and I dropped off my kegs. I deliver them myself, you know, out of my car, and yeah, they turned over fast, and people have been asking for, you know, now I have probably about 18 accounts, and the last 5 or 6 have been all word of mouth. My accounts are mostly who I can get to because I'm self-distributing. So Western Queens, I would say Eastern Brooklyn. So basically the neighborhoods that I'm driving around in would be Astoria, Long Island City, Greenpoint, East Williamsburg, Williamsburg. I basically do a loop.
Part of what is happening now is like you know, more of a national feeling of like craft beer now becoming prevalent in little pockets of the United States where you didn't have your own local brewery. And now, right now in particular, it's booming, and there are all these brew pubs opening up in communities that never had, you know, one of the people in the town actually making the beer that everyone's consuming. And there's a certain pride in that, and it does make it very humanistic.
My brewery is basically, you know, I'm born and raised here in Queens. I've done a lot of traveling through the years. I haven't stayed here in New York. I've been to other places, but for family I came back here. And now I'm here and raising my 3 kids, my 3 daughters here. But I have a long history here in Queens, and beer has the kind of personality where you can give it any kind of name that you want. You can incorporate any personality that you want for that particular beer that you make. So my beers are all basically small dedications to things that have gone on here in Queens or in the boroughs in general. The reaction to the brewery has been really positive, and right now the space that I have, it allowed me to test my, you know, my product and my brewing skills, and you know, the reaction, like I said, it's been good, but I can't go any further with this space.
You know, there's room for some growth, and the more of the population we have drinking craft brewed beer, then the more room there's going to be for all these new guys who are breaking into the market.
And hopefully this is a temporary stop. I'm not looking to be a garage band brewery for my whole life, so stand by and you know, stay tuned.